then could you hit the start?
Okay.
Thanks. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Hey there, my name's Scott Underwood. I'm here to teach you some pretty important things. This is Caitlin Greiner of Home Yoga in Costa Mesa, California, and shouting out to all of you wherever you're at. So we're going to practice some meditation and mindfulness and how it connects to our psyche, how it connects to our lives, and how we can use this as a way of controlling anxiety and becoming more and more productive with our lives and more at peace with our lives. So if you're ready to go, let's go for it. I'm going to give you a little bit of the history, a little bit of the thoughts behind meditation and behind this idea of mindfulness within our lives. And then I'm going to give you 3 different types of meditation practices. Really simple. So if you would like, maybe if you're at home or if you're somewhere where it's accessible, maybe you get a blanket to sit upon, maybe a pillow or a bolster, or even a rolled towel works. If you think you're going to be comfortable seated for a while, just seated, that's fine too. You can even do this in a chair, just adapting to the chair. Okay, I do find my meditation practice is much more effective if I'm seated on the ground, if possible. So, great. A few other things you may want to think about is finding a nice quiet space to practice your meditation. I know it's really, really difficult for students to find a quiet space, but if you can, that's great. Eventually, you won't need it. Eventually, you'll be able to practice your meditation wherever you're at. But when you're just beginning, it's always nice to have a nice quiet space so you can spend an uninterrupted amount of time there. All right, so I'm going to show you these techniques that have been developed over many, many years. As a matter of fact, thousands of years. And there are different types of meditation that we can practice. And like I said, I'm going to show you 3 of them. But feel free after we're done here, if you have your own style, that kind of thing, feel free to follow that through. Meditation has been a part of humanity for forever. It's really a basic part of most of the wisdom traditions. Buddha spoke of this meditation. Jesus spoke of it. Muhammad. Just about every wisdom tradition has spoken of meditation in one form or another. So let's go for it. So I'm here to show you those techniques in mindfulness and meditation and how it can help our studies and our day-to-day lives. But also, it's a very stressful time in this world, as I'm sure we all know, and we're dealing with all sorts of things. And this is a wonderful way to get your mind around those things. So, I was, just a little bit of my biography, I was born here in California in the United States. And I grew up near the ocean my whole life, essentially. And I find a very deep connection with the ocean. And it is another wonderful place to go and find peace within yourself, if you have that available to you. I was raised by a single mother who I'm really very proud of, and that helped to develop me in the ways that I find I've developed throughout my life. I have 2 kids, and they're fantastic. Darby is 18, so maybe same age as some of you. And my son is 11, Buster, and we call him Mr. Sunshine because he is almost always super, super happy. And it's a good lesson to watch children. We forget how to be children. I've been a teacher of college, English, literature, creative writing. I teach I teach yoga, I teach meditation and mindfulness and all of that kind of stuff. And I really find both fascinating and enlightening how all of these things that I've studied in my life, and I'm sure you have, and Caitlin has as well, how they can all come together into one thing. And that thing is super, super interesting to come into contact with. That thing is ourself. And we go to school, we study, we spend so much time on our intellect, we spend so much time cultivating relationships in our life, whether it's family, friends, loves, whatever it might be. And we should do those things. Those things are really, really important to progress within our lives, within our world. But what those things don't do is those things don't really help us in the study of ourself, of the true self, okay? And the true self is, and what does that look like? What does that mean? Well, the true self is this thing. Again, the Buddha spoke of it, Jesus spoke of it. Every wisdom tradition speaks of it in one way or another. That true self is like this essential being. And I know that the Buddha also spoke of non-self, and we could go further in that, but we don't need to today. So here's the metaphor. The metaphor goes like this. You enter a vehicle, a car, right? And you know, it's a car. And it has all the things cars have. It has like doors and wheels and a windshield and some headlights and an engine, right? And you turn on the car and you get behind the wheel and you begin to drive it. And you have a good time. You do what you do when you're driving, right? You drive down the street, you know, you make these turns, you come back, you park that car along the street. You get out of the car, right? And then you enter into another car. And you do the same thing you just did, right? You get in the car, you start driving, you start going along the streets and all that stuff. And then you park the car. So the metaphor is this, that car is just your body, okay? And yourself is the person driving the car, right? But when you changed cars, when you changed bodies, did you change? Did that essential part of yourself change? And really the answer is no. That this is the vehicle with which myself is in control of, but this is just the vehicle. And it's really important to keep this vehicle healthy as possible, so that we can go and experience the world, right? But the vehicles can change, the roads we drive can change, but the driver can't. And the driver is you, is that true self. But we find in this world that seems very chaotic, we find in this world that we start to confuse that. And we start to confuse the experience with the self. And meditation is the way in which we can come back and come inward, rather than what we do most of the times in our life is living outward. Okay, so if we can come inward, then we can find out what our motivations are. We can find out why we do the things we do. We can find out why we react to things the way we react. And maybe we can be more true to our ultimate joy. Joy is the point, okay? So we're in school here, right? And we're spending time on our intellect. But if I can show you a few skills in which you can calm the mind down, you can be more effective in that intellect, but you can also be a more effective and joyful in your current circumstances. So that's good enough for right now as a metaphor for what we're doing here. Let's practice a little bit of pranayama, of breath control, but also meditation. One form of meditation here, and Caitlin's going to demonstrate for us. If, when I give an explanation, if there's a moment in which you're confused about what you're supposed to be doing, just look up and look at Caitlin, and you feel okay? Yeah, you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Good. So come to the seat wherever you're at. Preferred cross-legged seated position if possible. If not, you can do this in the chair. Now, your hands come to either the knees, palms facing down, palms facing up, or even thumb and forefinger lightly touching. Depends on what your practice, what feels good to you, and you can always change this up during the practice. So close your eyes. Bring one hand to the belly now, and one hand to the chest. I want us to think about breath. Inhale your shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale your shoulders back and down. Top of the head comes towards the ceiling, chin is slightly ducked. Straighten your spine. With your eyes closed, breathe in deeply in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. Do that again. Inhale deeply in through the nose. One more time, inhale. Seal your lips, inhale in through the nose. Feel your chest rise, even feel your belly rise. Good. Now pull in from the belly, exhale completely out of the nose. Excellent. Inhale again. Chest rises, belly rises, waistline rises. Push it out. Now pulling in, exhale completely out of the nose. Breathe in even deeper this time. Exhaling completely out of the nose. Constrict the back of the throat. Inhale, drag that breath across the back of the throat. Same sensation, exhaling. Again, inhale. Light oceanic sound coming from your mouth, from your nose. Exhale completely. So matching the length and depth and breadth of your breath, continue on your own. That breath is the sound of the ocean coming in and out on the shore. Eyes are still closed. If it's comforting, you can bring your hands to your knees again. And let's practice this. And let's call this 5 minutes. If passing thoughts come through your mind, you breathe in, and then you exhale, finding yourself releasing that breath, releasing that thought. Thoughts, like everything else, are temporary, transitory. And we oftentimes get caught up in those thoughts, causing us some anxiety, causing us some strain. And your job here today is, as those things enter your mind, you just inhale and exhale. As you release the breath, you release the thought. Continuing on your own. let's take 5 more breaths here. On that 5th breath, go ahead and blink your eyes open. Take your time. You good? How are you guys feeling? I hope you're feeling good. It does take a while. Your rear end may get a little bit sore after a while. You may have to switch the cross of your legs every once in a while. Just feel comfortable. If there's any sensations that are not comfortable, just look at them and acknowledge them. And then breathe in, and then you can transcend them. So for the next 2 to 3 minutes, could you please take that pencil and paper, which I think I neglected to tell you to get, but it's fine, there'll be a list before you get here. So take that pencil and paper and just write down any thoughts you might have about what you were feeling, whether you felt it was working with your mind, whether you were very uncomfortable, what was going on with you and with your life, and just write those things down. And we'll take a couple minutes for that, okay? Well, that breathing gets you warm, right? Just take another minute or so here. You need anything else? Okay, let's wrap it up. So, one of the questions I like to ask in everything that I do is, why am I doing what I'm doing? And I sort of want you to ask yourself that same thing. Why are we doing what we are doing right now? I have an answer, and doesn't mean it's a correct answer, it just means it's my answer, right? But my answer is this: we're living in an unpredictable world. We have no idea of what's going to happen around us. We can control a little bit of that, but what we can really control is the way we react to those things that happen. So there's an interesting picture that I saw the other day, taken from 2 different angles. And one angle of the picture showed a lion swallowing the head of a cub. But when the camera changed angles, what it really was showing was the lion was holding her cub by the neck, carrying the cub with her, as mother lions do. So in one perspective, it's the same action. It's the same thing that happened, the same lion, the same cub, yet a shift of perspective makes us react to it differently. And so with our meditation, it gives us the space, it gives us the moment, that breath that you took, in order to maybe find the appropriate reaction to a given situation, rather than just acting rather than just freaking out. So it's all about perspective, okay? And meditation will not stop the things in the world from coming at you. Meditation will help you react to those things and deal with them. We're constantly receiving messages from the world around us. We're connected to our families and our friends and our enemies and our desires and our memories and our prejudices and our fears. We look at our computers and phones all the time. We look at our Instagrams or Facebook accounts and see how wonderful everybody else's life is in comparison to our own. We're receiving all these messages. And, we also see how terrible the world is, right? And it's not. But that's what we get to see through our news, through our computers, through our phones, and through our social media. And then we become anxious about it, right? We become worried about what could happen rather than experiencing what is happening. So, but where do those fears come from? Most of us don't even have any idea. We became anxious and sad. It's a murky world, right? Brought up by that chaos and all that kind of stuff. And I know, I'm not being naive here. I know that the world is currently experiencing a pandemic, and it's very serious business. A lot of people are sick and a lot of people have died. I understand that. I understand that there are wars going on all over the world. Absolutely. I understand that, global warming is threatening the very existence of humanity. But my question then becomes, we understand those things, so do we devolve into panic? Do we devolve into something that we would not necessarily recognize as human? Or do we face those things? Do we face those shadows with courage and integrity and balance, and maybe the effectiveness that comes with that, rather than the dejectedness of doom? And this is part of the process, I think. That breath postures that you were just taking is Ujjayi, pranayama. It's warrior's breath control, but a warrior can be a peaceful warrior, yes. And so when you come into those moments of chaos, maybe you can take a few of those breaths before you act or react. Okay. So for another metaphor, and this is a pretty famous one, many of you may know it. So the Buddha was walking down the road with one of his disciples. They come to a very slowly moving river, right? Very clean surface and all that kind of stuff. And the Buddha, who was very, very, very familiar with getting his own water, asked his companion to go get him some water. And the Buddha had seen that there was a man with a cart upriver, and he asked his disciple to go get the water from over there. So when this man that was following the Buddha's wishes got to the river, the man with the cart crossed the river, muddying up all the water, right? And the disciple looks down and he says, I can't give the Buddha this water. It's dirty. It's not fit to be drank. So he goes back and he tells the enlightened one, he says, listen, Buddha, the water's pretty muddy. It's not fit for you to drink. And so Buddha says, well, let's sit. And they sit. And they sit together in silence, and they sit together in breath. And about an hour later, Buddha says, hey, could you go get me that water again? And the man goes over, and the water is now clear. All the mud had settled, right? And he gets the water into his vessel, and he brings it over to the Buddha, and he says, okay, this water is fit to drink. And Buddha says, well, do you see if you had just acted before, and we wouldn't have this water. But now if we just sat in patience and waited for the right time, and recognized it, then the water is clear and clean, and that water is for you. So if you see that metaphor, if you see that story for what it is sometimes the appropriate action is non-action, and sometimes the appropriate action is to wait for the right time and not just to act. Many of us have many times acted out in anger or frustration rather than taking a step back and thinking and just letting things settle down. And that's, I think, true with most situations. So anyway, going further, oh, I've got this great quote. So the 32nd president of the United States, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he had said, so first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the one thing we have to fear is fear itself. Nameless, unreasoning, unjustified terror, which paralyzes needed efforts to convert, retreat, into advance. So our greatest enemy is our fear. And I think many of us can realize that. It muddies the water of our minds, of our experience. It keeps us from seeing our true nature. So we can stop for a moment. If we can stop for a moment, let it clear up, and realize that our karma meaning sacred action, becomes our dharma, which means sacred duty. So if our karma becomes our dharma, then we understand and we act correctly for our own experience. So let's begin with another type of meditation today. This is my own form of meditation. This is my preferred form of meditation. It's sort of a mix between Chan Buddhist meditation and Lamaze. If everybody knows, if you know what Lamaze is, it's a Western form of meditation that was developed, breathing and all that kind of stuff, which was developed to help women in labor give birth. So, and if you've ever experienced it, or you've seen it, or you kind of know the process, you'll know if this is used to help women give birth, this will help you get over your anxieties. Okay, wonderful. So the directions are pretty detailed, and I'm going to read them off. Again, if you get a little confused, just look at Caitlin, and you've never done this meditation, right? You have. Okay. Well then, good. You're better off than they are. Okay, come to a nice cross-legged seat on the ground. Whatever's most comfortable for you. Again, she's on a pillow that helps rise up and elongate the spine. And you can also use a chair if you would like. Take a deep cleansing breath. So what that is you inhale deeply in through the nose and through pursed lips, exhale. Push it all out. Inhale again. And release. Inhaling again. Release. Arms reach out and up, really up to the sky. Good. Excellent job. Interlace or grab a hold of your thumb with your right hand. Squeeze that thumb, make a fist. Now wrap the left hand around the knuckles. Hands come to the waist. Excellent. So there's a couple of other versions of this posture, depending on what you would like. This is one mudra. You could also use Dhyana Mudra, in which your right hand is on top of your left, palms facing up, and then thumbs lightly touch together. But your hands are right into the waist, and you're holding there. That really good. Okay, eyes are half lidded. So you're looking slightly in front of you. You're finding a unmoving spot to focus on. Once you focus on that spot, now release the focus. So that spot becomes blurred but still solid. That's what you're going to be looking at this whole time. If you closed your eyes during this meditation practice, you would fall asleep. And you could try that one night when you're in bed and maybe you wake up and you're having a hard time going back to sleep. Maybe you can go ahead and close your eyes and try this meditation practice. I'm pretty positive that you're going to find you're going to go to sleep. But that's not our purpose right now. So keep looking at that spot. Beautiful. So great. So now let's go ahead and slowly begin to roll our chest forward, making circles with our torso in one direction. Taking your time, reversing that direction when you're ready. Taking your time, and then making smaller and smaller circles until your spine is straight and aligned. And once centered, take another deep cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose and release that breath evenly through pursed lips. This time, bring the tongue to the roof of the mouth, the palate, and form a suction there. And then swallow whatever saliva you have at the back of the mouth. And this tongue posture will help to control the salivation. And just keep breathing. Your shoulders are parallel with the ground, or with the ceiling. Your head is slightly risen, chin is slightly ducked. Now, breathe in half breath. So you're breathing into the top part of your chest. And then just exhaling out of the nose. Do that again. And we're going to begin to count. I'm going to help you with your counting, but on every exhaled breath, you're going to count in your mind, not out loud. So let's begin. On the exhale, 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Once you reach 10, returning to 1. 1. And now begin to count in your own mind. Establishing this meditation, the counting allows you to release thought. The counting gives you something to focus upon. And every time you reach 10, return to 1. You will find that there will be a moment where you go past 10, where you come to 15, or 20, or 30, wherever you get, when you realize that you've passed 10, calmly, with no judgments, return to 1. Eventually, it becomes more and more natural to practice. Eventually, it becomes natural. And let's do this for 10 more minutes. Pour close. And the next time that you reach 10, blink your eyes open and release. Oh, you can get up and shake it off a little bit. Everybody shake it off. Sitting down for a while can cause a little bit of lower back pain. You can just get a nice bend in the knees. Maybe grab a hold of the outside of the elbows and sway back and forth. Just starting to release that pressure you might have built up into your seats. So this meditation, what it's all about is it's about our mental health. It's about our personal mental health, our psychological health, getting in contact with that true self, getting comfortable with the idea that we all have passing thoughts, that kind of thing. But it's more than that. Our mental health, our healthy minds are also a part of our family's health, about our friends' health, about our culture's health, about the world's health. It's all connected, and we start here. We start here. And then that becomes the pebble thrown into the lake, and the rings spread outwards into the universe. So, like we said before, we all know we have busy everyday lives. We have concerns, anxieties, and all this kind of stuff. We have to shop, we have to clean, we have to go to work, we have to study. We have to eat, we have to use the restroom. We're biological beings, right? We cruise the internet. We post our stuff on Instagram and all that stuff. I mean, we do all sorts of things. You just have to ask Google. It knows. But we've somehow forgotten, if we ever knew it, we've somehow forgotten to take care of our minds. And so this is about the inner foundation of our lives rather than the outer foundation of our lives. And I propose to you that if you do these meditation techniques on a daily basis, that you're going to find yourself more effective, more joyful, more loving, and more able to experience the world around you in an effective manner. We can become more effective people, right? And I don't care what form of meditation you take. I'm not dogmatic about this stuff. Take the one that makes sense to you and experience all of these things. You ready to come back in? Cool. The nice thing is you're going to get to lay down. Do you want another blanket? No. Okay. You're comfortable? So everybody may want to lay down. Great job. I'm going to go away from this. So find yourself lying on the ground, just as natural as possible. And I'm going to talk you through a few things here. I can't teach you how to experience your meditation. That's a problem, right? I can teach you certain things about meditation, of what we're looking for, but you have to experience this on your own. So I can't tell you what to feel. I can give you kind of steps to get there. I might even be able to tell you why these processes work over and over again for thousands of years. But the experience is yours. And that's part of this deal. That's part of our deal. It's a rough road, especially nowadays. But as another American president named Roosevelt, this one Teddy Roosevelt, said, "Nothing in the world is worth having or worth doing unless it means effort, pain, difficulty. I have never in my life envied a human being who led an easy life. We grow through struggle. We learn through struggle." That quote was mine, by the way. So I like this. I like what Teddy Roosevelt said. And it strikes me as true. Meditation teaches us not to avoid struggle, not to avoid pain,
but it teaches us to confront it with courage, grace, and clarity. It helps us transcend what we thought were limitations, but what are really just challenges. And for our final meditation, if possible, please lay down on your back, or if you are seated, straighten the spine. Bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart. Feel your breath naturally this time. No force, no control. Eyes are closed. Bring attention to your body. What's going on with it? Notice your back and your hips. Is your entire backside of your body on the ground, or is it lifted in certain spots? Take a few breaths here. Relax completely. Pull the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Now we're gonna do a little experiment. You're gonna repeat each word I say in your mind. Think about the sensations that are going on. Don't make judgments, whether you are comfortable or uncomfortable. Just take notice of what's happening to your body. Become the observer, become the witness, become the seer. Now repeat after me in your mind. Feet. Imagine those feet dissolving away. Shins. Calves. Knees. Thighs. Imagine your legs dissolving away. Hips. Belly. Lower back. Mid-back. Stomach and internal organs. Maybe you can feel the process of your digestion right now. Again, no judgments here. Just recognize what's happening to your body. Repeat. Upper back. Shoulders. Throat. Heart center. Focus on that heart. Feel the beating of your heart. Feel that natural rhythm of the heart. Now imagine your entire torso fading away, dissolving. Now repeat. Fingers, wrists, forearms, upper arms. What sensations are happening now to you? Relax. Loosen the jaw. Now repeat silently. Scalp. Third eye. Center of the lips. Now notice your whole body being present. Take another breath. Be aware of your whole body as best you can. Take some time. When you're ready, blink those eyes open. If you're laying, hands can come to the knees. Knees can come up towards the chest. Squeeze in. It may feel good to rock side to side or bring the forehead to the knees. Squeezing tight ball of your body. Roll over to one side. Use your upper hand, coming to a seat. How are you doing? Good. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. We're almost there, you guys. Could you please take the next 2 or 3 minutes to write your impressions about what you were just feeling, whether it caused you some anxiety? Meditation can cause anxiety at first when you're first practicing it. It's pretty uncomfortable until it becomes comfortable, and then it becomes very relieving. So go ahead and write down your impressions now, 2 or 3 minutes, and have one final little exercise. Excellent job. Okay, just take one more minute. Excellent. So I'm really interested in hearing what your thoughts are about this experience. If this is the first time you've meditated, I'm also interested, if you're a regular practitioner, to hear what your thoughts were about this practice that we just went through. I cannot thank you enough for joining me on this journey. It can be very uncomfortable, or it can be very comforting. But I would like to thank you for your open-mindedness and for joining on this journey. I hope that it gave you some tools for both your personal and your professional lives. It's meant to, and I'd like to thank Sophia University and Home Yoga in Costa Mesa, California, for allowing us to do this for you. So for the next week, I would like for you to practice this meditation at least 15 minutes per day. And at the end of that week, if you could please just write a 300 to 500 word reaction or impression upon what you've experienced today, or what you've experienced throughout the week. It'd be very useful. So until next time, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. And I definitely hope to hear from you someday soon. You can find me at homeyogaoc.com. Okay, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Good?
Yeah.
Yay. Very, very nice job. Thank you so much.